back to just about the 25. Call it the 24-yard line. Now the Georgia Southern man, this is Jerick McKinnon. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage back at the 22. That'll set him back with a loss of 3 on the play. And that'll make this a 2nd and 13. Throwing, Bridgewater. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down.
This team is not going to make it easy for you. They're a physical group, and we just saw it there on that play. They came in, made the contact, just as he's trying to haul it in.
Wonder what's in the offensive playbook on 3rd and 13. We're about to find out. From the gun, Bridgewater. Pressure brought in, and the Falcons get there for the sack.
The game plan for any defense is finding ways to make a quarterback uncomfortable in the pocket. When you bring pressure from all angles, you never know who's going to get home. In this case, the left cornerback, right in the face of him, puts him down.
So on 4th down, here's Ryan Quigley now to kick this one away. Back deep here, Andre Roberts. Dodges him at the 50. A very good return that time. 18-yard. And this offense takes over in great shape right at the 50. 1st and 10. Now Ryan going to give it to Freeman. And that play goes nowhere. Taken down, losing yardage at the 50, right at midfield. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down. From midfield now, here's Ryan. Swings it out to the flat for Freeman. And he'll take it down shy of the 45 at the 46. It's a 4-yard pickup, and that'll lead here to a third down. Off the play fake to Freeman. It's Ryan. It's caught. Jones. And he picks up the first before he's taken down at the 29. 17 yards on the pickup there. The drive will continue. It's a first down. The Falcons averaged 34 points a game last year, tops in the NFL with that powerful offense, and they're already looking for more here as they've got it 1st and 10. So the D-line's going to spread out. Ryan on the handoff. It's Freeman. And he went nowhere. He'll lose yardage back to the 29. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down. Well, that play was doomed right from the start.
They just about ran into every defender on that one, didn't he? It felt like everyone got a piece of that tackle.
A little bit of ground to make up for the offense as they face a 2nd and 11. A fake to Freeman. Now it's Ryan. And he is into the end zone for a Falcon touchdown. Taylor Gabriel, 29 yards. And the Falcons will add on to their lead.
Great field position has to be one of the best friends an offense can have. When you don't have very far to go, you should cash it in with points.
And it's good. Here's Bosher to kick it away. And no return on this one as the fair catch is signaled for and taken. Before this next series gets going here offensively, what about that Saints-Vikings game?
There's so many different ways we can go and so many comments we can start with, but I hope you don't mind me starting with this one. Never in the history of the NFL, all right, did we ever think that Drew Brees could lead a team that scores and leaves just 29 seconds on the clock, and he left too much time for Case Keenum.
For Case Keenum.
Think about that.
Yeah,
all right?
Just the end of that game, you know, we say it all the time, but you live for those moments. Now, you also got to remember, for the Saints, and we're thinking about the Vikings, for the Saints, what heartbreak.
Heartbreak for Marcus Williams, especially the safety. People are going to identify him as the key. But there's one thing to keep in mind. Kyle Rudolph, the tight end for the Vikings, right from the Saints defense, jumped him and actually weakened the back end of that defense and left it in a 2-on-2 situation, and the Vikings took advantage of it.
One we'll be talking about for years. And he'll lose yardage here, going down back at the 28. It'll be a loss of 1. Now the defense going to use the first of their timeouts. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. Seven yards remaining here on third down. To throw is Bridgewater. Looking left side, and he's got a man. It's right. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. And the Falcons going to use another timeout. And that's their second charge timeout here in this first quarter. They're down to one remaining. And how about this one now? In their own territory, a gutsy call. They're going to go for this on 4th and a yard. They're indeed going for it. Bridgewater. And complete. Right side, the tight end Rudolph. So certainly an interesting call there to go for it. And the Falcons will take control of the football in great field position. Falcons taking over on offense in just a second. And, you know, this year ended in disappointing fashion now. Last year was the ultimate version of heartbreak. But if you're a Falcon fan, this one was tough to swallow as well, wasn't it?
It certainly was, because let's be honest about it. Losing in the Super Bowl, I don't care how you lose, you're in the Super Bowl. You're playing for it all. This team was supposed to be as good or better. Ultimately ended up 10-6, found their way in the playoffs, but didn't get the deep run as they had the year before. So you're exactly right. For Falcons fans, that's a tough one. But this is a team that's built to be good for a long time.
Ryan. Sanu with a grab over the middle. And he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a third down.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks, because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did.
The former Indiana Hoosier here, Tevin Coleman. And his first carry, he loses the football. And will they call it a touchback? No, it's out at the 1-yard line. They were inches there from blowing a golden scoring opportunity. They'll look to run with Freeman. And the D not yielding much there. He's only going to get a yard to about the 2.
And a nice job defensively to keep him out of the end zone. He's trying to get his second touchdown already in the first half.
They had that one earlier, was bidding for a second. On second down, here's Ryan. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Able to get there and pick it. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Brandon, this is why golfers do their best to never count a score in their head before the ball goes in the cup. This looked like a slam dunk for points on this drive, didn't it? Instead, they throw an interception, and they're going to come away empty.
Following the interception, here's Bridgewater. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out, incomplete. Some of the fans here don't seem too happy about what we've seen in this first half.
No, not at all, and I understand why. They've looked lethargic, out of sync, and it shows on the scoreboard.
10 yards still left on second down.
Let's go.
And he motions the wide receiver. They'll throw again from their own end zone. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Deion Jones, the linebacker. And he will bring this down inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. When you're on your own 1-yard line like they were, oftentimes you're thinking just run on any down, get some space. There they elect to throw it. It cost them.
You get the sense that they were banking on the element of surprise, right? Everyone expects you to run it there. Let's take a shot. Let's throw it. Try and create some space.
And he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Atlanta. Devontae Freeman with his second touchdown here in this first half. And the Falcons will extend their lead. Here's Bryant for the extra point. And it is now 21-0. Here's Bosher to kick it away. That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. And now out comes Minnesota. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here, or an inability to put any points up. This one might be over by half.
Yeah, and what you also have to guard against is calling every play for a big shot downfield. You know, thinking you're going to get all these points back on one drive. You're not. And last time I looked, it's still the first half. I'm not saying you have ultimate patience here, but you also don't have to go ahead and force everything either.
And not much there. Maybe a yard up to the 24.
Defenses always talk about earning the right to rush the passer on 3rd down. And you know what offenses want? Win 1st down so they can set things up for themselves better.
And that wasn't helpful there. Not a big impact on 1st down. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Ricardo Allen with a pick. And he'll bring this one back to the 29.
So that's back-to-back drives where they've thrown an interception. Ordinarily, we look at the offense and say, what's going on with your scheme? Maybe we should look at the defense and just give them a whole lot of credit. They've got them frustrated right now.
Really nice starting field position here for the offensive unit. After the interception, here's Ryan. And he's going to go down. They get to him back at the 40.
Well, so much for setting the tone of the drive offensively. Giving up a big sack that loses that kind of yardage, not a great start.
Now Ryan on 2nd down. He goes underneath to Freeman. And they'll be inside the 25 now at the 24. They get 16 out of that one, but they'll still need to convert on 3rd.
We can talk all we want about football being a game of strength and brawn. It's also a game of mismatches, and they're trying to create one there, getting it to their back out of the backfield to make a bigger play.
As we often say, get it to him in space, let him use his leg.
Yeah, if he can get a matchup against a linebacker or maybe a defensive end dropping out in a zone blitz, he's going to win that battle just about every time. They dialed up the screen pass on 3rd down, and for a second it looked like it was all going to come together, and they had a chance to pick up a 1st down, but the defense got there and finished it off.
They'll try and throw for it with Ryan. And my goodness, this is incomplete. Boy, it looked like he had it and dropped it. And the Vikings defense is going to get the football back. Well, taking a step back, and we look league-wide for a second. On Tuesday the 16th, Pro Football Writers Association named the all-rookie team. Who was on the ledger?
Well, let's start with the headliners. Let's start with the Offensive Rookie of the Year, Alvin Kamara, running back from Tennessee, 3rd rounder with the New Orleans Saints. And Marshawn Lattimore, their first pick in the 1st round. This past season, a cornerback out of Ohio State, the Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and Kamara shared that offensive honor with Kareem Hunt. What a year he had.
I mean, when you put it all together, at one point you thought Kareem Hunt was just running away with this thing. Remember, they got off to a 5-0 start, and he was essentially setting rookie records every week he played. And then Kamara and the Saints with a late rush made it a tie. Both of them well-deserving.
That's not only Adam Thielen, that's the Pro Bowler Adam Thielen, who had 91 catches this year and over 1,200 yards, a career high.
We always look for great stories when we do games. Is there a better one this season than Adam Thielen in terms of where he came from to make a Pro Bowl roster as a receiver for the Minnesota Vikings? Lightly recruited out of high school, ends up at Mankato State, which is now known as Minnesota State Mankato. Undrafted, goes to a rookie free agent tryout camp, hangs around, makes the practice squad, First, he's a special teams guy, and now he's one of the better receivers in the league. I think it's one of the best stories I've heard in 2017 NFL.
And how about the call here? They need 2 yards in their own territory on 4th down, and they're going to go for it. They're going to try and throw. And this is incomplete. Boy, a curious decision to go for it. Doesn't pan out. And the Falcons will take control of the football in great field position. Here comes the Falcon offense now as they get set to take over here. And on the last drive, they were in field goal range. They just opted not to kick it, didn't get it. How does that change the mentality this go-around?
I don't think it changes much for the head coach because this is what he preaches all the time. Attack at all times in any spot on the field, and he likes touchdowns, not field goals. Now, your field goal kicker...
And he is into the end zone for a Falcon touchdown. Devontae Freeman on his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns. And the Falcons will add on to their lead. Bryant now to tack on the extra point. It's good, and they stretch their lead to 28-0 now. Here's Bosher to kick it away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And all that worked, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. The Vikings offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. Typically down in the first half, I might say, oh, you at least need a field goal out of this drive, but they're down to the point where they need a touchdown, don't they?